Namaste nerds, this is Navanad, Budget Pub Stomper, and today we're going to be talking about this thing, which is a result of this announcement, June 20th, which was my birthday. What'd you get me? Wizards of the Coast announced that as of the release of Edge of Eternities, there's going to be a rules update which will allow vehicles to be your commander. So that's, of course, only going to be legendary vehicles. And so this is kind of big news, sort of a fundamental change in the rules of the game, but I think it's actually not going to end up changing very much. It's not going to have a huge effect on the format, specifically budget competitive, but I mean even just the format at large I don't think is going to be all that moved by it. But what I did is I went through and looked at all of the vehicles that are legendary to see what our options, like what new, cool, potentially broken, competitively viable options might we be getting. And I didn't find very much. There were really only a few vehicles that got my attention. The one that got my attention the most was this guy right here. I mean, this guy looks honestly really good. So now that we can use vehicles, legendary vehicles, as our commanders, I'm looking forward to building Shorkai Genesis engines. So that's what this video is going to be about. So this is going to be, I think, pretty good. I think this is pretty real. I know it's going to be real enough for budget competitive at the $100 level. The deck I'm about to present you with is damn good. It does broken things. It's fast enough. It's interactive enough. It's grindy enough. It just kind of has everything. So what is there to say about this commander? How do I want to start? I kind of want to just go through every card and justify each and every card choice because that's basically what I've done. The combos are really like, this is a deck that is not, you're not going to be using the commander to combo. The commander is really just here for a value engine, and that's not very common in budget competitive. In budget competitive, generally you're using your commander to win the game with in some way, shape, or form. And if it's a value engine, then great, all the better. If it's a value engine in addition to your win condition or your outlet or your way to tutor up the win condition, but that's not really what we're doing here. What we're doing here with the Jackdaw is we're drawing fuck tons of cards with this commander, and we are winning with combos that are pretty well Jackdaw agnostic. Like, we don't need to have our commander in play in order to combo off. So usually I start by talking about the combo and the win lines. Yeah, I guess let's just do that real quick. But then I want to talk about all the rationale and the justification for all the cards that we've played and why we're playing them. Because a lot of the cards that I started with didn't make the cut. So if they're in here and they're still in here, that means something. That means that they really are good in the context of this deck. Okay, so what's our main win line? It turns out that the way that I've been finding myself winning most games in Goldfishing has been with either Rionia. Well, honestly, it's normally been Rionia or Kikijiki with exactly fear of missing out. Maybe that's just short-term variance. Maybe it won't always be that way, but so far what I'm finding is the combo that I tend to go for is either going to be Rionia or Kikijiki, and I've been pairing it with exactly fear of missing out. Fear of missing out's a little bit easier to tutor than the other. I also included Combat Celebrant in the deck. These are both, so we've got Combat Celebrant and Fear of Missing Out as the A's, or we'll call these the B's because they're the Kiki bottoms. So we've got Combat Celebrant, we've got Fear of Missing Out, these are the B's, and then our A's are Kikijiki and Rionia. So those are two layered combos, because Rionya works with Combat Celebrant, Rionya works with Fear of Missing Out, Kiki-Jiki works with Combat Celebrant, Kiki-Jiki works with Fear of Missing Out. So you've got layered combos where either of these can be the A, and then either of these can be the B, that will win the game. So if you're not sure how the combos work, Rionya says that at the beginning of combat on your turn, create X tokens that are copies of another target creature you control, where X is, importantly, 1 plus the number of instants and sorcery spells you've cast this turn. They gain haste. Exile them at the beginning of the next end step. So importantly, that is not Storm. That is Storm +1. At the beginning of combat on your turn, create X tokens that are copies of another target creature you control, where X is 1 plus. So it's the number of, not spells, but it's the number of instants and sorceries that you have cast +1. That means that even if you've cast 0 other things, you will get at least 1 copy, and that is crucial. That's critical. It's super important. So if you have Rionya in play and you have Combat Celebrant in play, you don't have to have, you need not have cast anything else. You will put a win on the stack on combat. So you'll go to combat with your Rionya and your Combat Celebrant in play, and you will make 1 plus the number of spells you've cast, which is 1 if you've not cast anything else. So you'll make 1 additional Combat Celebrant. So it says, if Combat Celebrant's been exerted this turn, and you can exert it when it attacks. When you do, untap all the creatures you control, or does it say all other creatures you control, and after this, there's an additional combat. Okay, so what that means is, when you exert, by the way, just means you're tapping with the understanding that you're not going to be able to untap that creature that exerted on your next untap step. But in this case, it's not going to matter because we're trying to win the game. So there ought not be a next turn. So there ought not be a next untap step. So Rionya, go to combat, copy your Combat Celebrant, go to combat, actually move to your attacking. Exert your Combat Celebrants, and then after that combat, there's going to be another combat where Rionya will trigger again, making another copy of Combat Celebrant. You go to combat again, you exert the Combat Celebrant again. Now, the Combat Celebrants don't untap themselves, but each Combat Celebrant does untap all of the others. So as soon as you get to this point, you just win the game. You're going to take infinite combats with infinite untapped Combat Celebrants, and you're going to murder the table, even if you have no other board state except Rionya and Combat Celebrant. The same is also true of Kiki-Jiki plus Combat Celebrant. You will have the same exact situation, but instead of going to combat and Rionya triggering during combat to make a copy, you're just going to tap the Kiki-Jiki to make a copy of Combat Celebrant. Everything else is exactly the same. You'll make an extra combat. When you go to your combat, it'll untap your Kiki-Jiki. You'll tap the Kiki-Jiki to make another copy. So on and so forth. And the Combat Celebrants, again, do not untap themselves, but they do untap one another. Fear of Missing Out can be a stand-in for Combat Celebrant with Rionya or Kiki-Jiki, with one little wrinkle. So for one thing, it's cheaper, so that's good, and that 2 mana makes a big difference, especially when you're holding on to Muddle the Mixture as your only tutor. No, but really, it does make a difference. 2 mana is a lot easier than 3 mana. And 7 mana is a lot easier than 8 mana if you're trying to unload all these at the same time. Fear of Missing Out says when it ETBs, you can discard a card and then draw a card. This deck is built around the idea that you're going to be doing that a lot. So there's built-in synergy. There's automatic synergies in with Fear of Missing Out and the deck, right? The deck wants to be, because it's going to be discarding things. It doesn't mind when Fear of Missing Out is your top deck and you don't have Delirium, it's usually got something to do. Whether that be discarding a card with flashback, or a wonder, putting wonder into your graveyard. There's honestly, one of the main things you're going to be doing is setting up Delirium. Instead of Combat Celebrant, when you have Fear of Missing Out, you have to have Delirium in order to go infinite. It says, when Fear of Missing Out ETBs, discard a card and draw a card. But it also says Delirium, when Fear of Missing Out attacks for the first time each turn, if there are 4 or more card types among cards in your graveyard, untap target creature. After this phase, there's an additional combat phase. So Fear of Missing Out is going to become basically the same thing as Combat Celebrant with Rionia or with Kikijiki, as long as you have 4 card types, 4 or more different kinds of cards in your graveyard. And so part of the iterating I've done on this deck is making it easier to get there. Where it was close between this or that card, I chose the card that has 2 creature types instead of 1. When I went back to revisit my land base, I thought, I wasn't sure if I wanted the Sylvanite Temple or not, but I'm going to put it in because I do like the fact that it can ramp me effectively, getting me a turn 2 commander if that's the thing to do, or just giving me that little burst of mana. Same thing with Sandstone Needle. And the fact that I'm going to have a land in my graveyard some of the time just gave me that extra little boost where it just barely made the cut, because it's going to make it just that little tiny bit easier to turn on Delirium. But with all these little ways to turn on Delirium, Delirium is never a problem. In all of my in the very beginning, when I first started iterating on the deck, it was occasionally a problem. We've gotten to the point now where it's never a problem. I mean, you're going to be discarding often your entire hand with Jackdaw. And usually, the way the deck's built now, where we took out the 0 mana things that were not creatures, and we added all of the 0 mana creatures, for instance, that was a switch we made, because Mimnite, when we discard Mimnite, this counts as a creature and it counts as an artifact for your Delirium. So if you've got 1 land and 1 counterspell, or a land and a Strike It Rich, and then you discard a Mimnite, you are fully turned on for Delirium. Those are the main combos. I thought Malcolm and Glinthorn would be the main combo, but I never go for this. This is, it's a fine thing to do. It's a good thing to do because, again, we have all these discard synergies, so Glinthorn being a discard outlet on its own is a good thing for the deck. The deck likes to discard cards, but also having artifacts is a good thing for the deck, and Malcolm makes a supply of artifacts. When you attack with Malcolm, where the hell is my Malcolm? Keen-Eyed Navigator. He says 2/2 flyer for 3. Whenever 1 or more pirates you control deal damage to an opponent, create a treasure token for each opponent dealt damage. So you're going to make a treasure token every time you hit somebody with this, and a treasure token is an artifact. Therefore, it's going to be increasing your artifact count so that when you can get through with your Jackdaw to, you really maybe will be doing this on turn 4 or 5. You're not going to try to power out your commander and discard your hand and draw 4 cards. We're going to wait until we can draw, 6, 7, 8 cards a lot of the time. Or we're going to wait until we're hellbent and we can draw 4 cards. But usually we're not racing out our commander and trying to go as fast as we can into ataxies with it. Although sometimes that is the thing to do. But we don't have to do that. That's not the only thing there is to do. And so cards that just kind of make material, like Rose, Cutthroat Raider, are just really good in the deck. If we have 3 creatures that can attack 3 different opponents, we can make 3 junk tokens with our Rose, Cutthroat Raider. And that means that when we do attack with our Jackdaw and discard our hand, That's 3 additional cards that we will be drawing. Same thing with Professional Facebreaker. So Pro Facebreaker, Malcolm, Rose the Cutthroat Raider, Loyal Apprentice, Forensic Gadgeteer. So, well, these are doing the thing in different ways, but the deck is looking to spam artifact tokens into play, so that when we do the thing with our commander, we're drawing an obscene number of cards. And I'm going to show you the Goldfishing, because you just kind of have to see the way the Goldfishing works, I think, to appreciate the deck. But let's go through and talk about, now that we've got our combo kills out of the way, and again they are Rionia or Kiki-Jiki is a layered A plus B combo with Combat Celebrant and Fear of Missing Out. So Rionia plus Combat Celebrant or Fear, or FOMO, I should say. Kiki-Jiki plus FOMO or Combat Celebrant. Or your Malcolm, which is just a fine creature to have in the deck anyway. But Malcolm plus Glinthorn is also a I win the game combo. So those are your win cons. Now, how do we actually play the deck? The deck is actually a grindy value first. If you can kind of luck into your like turn 3, turn 4, turn 5 wins, so be it. But really, we're grinding value. We're countering things. We're blowing shit up, and we're making the game very hard for our opponents to win, while we are just forever increasing our artifact count, which means we're forever increasing the number of cards that we're drawing every turn. And I've had many goldfish situations where in testing we are going from discard our 3-card hand and draw 9 cards on turn 4 to, oh look, now I can spam all these things into play, and on turn 5 we discard our hand and we draw 19 cards. This is kind of the way, that's really the kind of general cadence of the deck. But we have to be able to, first of all, crew this thing, which ends up being a little bit less trivial than I had anticipated. And we've got to be able to get through without being blocked. So, because we've got to deal combat damage with the Jackdaw. And so with all of that context, I think we can now start to talk about all the cards in the deck and why they're here. We're playing a ton of artifacts, and so Enthusiastic Mechanaut is going to make our 1s into 0s and our 2s into 1s. All of our artifact spells are cost reduced by 1. And importantly, Enthusiastic Mechanaut is an artifact, and importantly, it has 2 power to help us crew our guy. Ethereum Sculptor, same kind of thing. Your artifact spells are cost reduced by 1. And this is a 1 power dude. So it is a cost reducer for all of our artifacts, and it's an artifact. Both of those things are super important. Critical, in fact. And it's going to be able to help us crew Jackdaw. What a dumb name, right? Jackdaw? I wish it was called something other than that, but that's what it's called. Academy Manufacturer. We're going to be doing, as you've seen, a lot of clue tokens and treasure tokens. I don't know if we do any food tokens, but we're doing the other 2 tokens pretty often. When we do, Academy Manufacturer is going to help us to spam even more. And Academy Manufacturer is itself an artifact and a creature. It's only a 1/3, but we've got plenty of 2s, and so Academy Manufacturer is going to help us crew the Jackdaw, and it's going to help us spam artifacts into play. Forensic Gadgeteer. Whenever we cast an artifact, which we're going to be doing a lot of, we're going to create another piece of material. Everyone's going to be a 2-for-1. And look at all these artifacts we've got. We've got a ton of 1 and 2 and 0 mana artifacts that we're going to be throwing down. And when we do, we're going to be triggering our Forensic Gadgeteer, which might just make our Academy Manufacturer pop off. We're going to be trying to get a ton of material into play We've got creatures like Third Path Iconoclast. This is one of the best things in the deck. I didn't think that when I first started building the deck. It almost didn't make the cut. In fact, I'm not sure if this was in my initial build. But this is worth its weight in gold, man. I'd play 2 more of these in the deck if I had them. It says, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create a 1/1 colorless soldier artifact creature token. That 2 that it's got, the 2 power that it's got, is real close to being, god damn it, is real close to being able to crew our commander by itself. If you add a 1/1 colorless soldier token to it, an artifact creature token to it, then you've got exactly 3 power, which is exactly enough to crew the guy. And it's, of course, an artifact, which is going to help us to draw. So all of the things in here are meant to help reduce the cost of artifacts, increase our artifact count, spam artifacts, and crew our vehicle, and make our vehicle harder to block. Magda. Magda is kind of like Malcolm in that every time we attack with it, we make a treasure token. It is also like Malcolm in that every time we make a treasure token with Academy Manufacturer in play, we make 3 pieces of material. But it can also help us to crew our commander. With Magda, crewing the commander is tapping the dwarf. Tapping the dwarf makes the treasure. So Magda is really good at specifically crewing our commander. Also, it's got a little bit of side synergy with, where'd he go? Moth Dust Changeling. So Moth Dust Changeling is a changeling, which means it's a pirate for Malcolm. And it also means when Magda is in play, that it's a dwarf that every time it taps makes a treasure. And that's really kind of a big thing because Moth Dust Changeling can tap to give target creature flying. So once we have crewed the commander, once we've crewed the Jackdaw, we can tap the Moth Dust Changeling to give it flying. And if we happen to have our Magda in play when we do that, now we've just made another piece of material. We've made a treasure token by tapping the Moth Dust Changeling because it's a changeling, which means it's a dwarf, which means it'll proc Magda, or Magda will proc because of it, or however you want to say that. We did end up going up bodies and up creatures, and we upped the number of ways we had to get a turn 2 commander so that we could go into turn 3, actually utilize the commander, and creatures like Skirk Prospector and especially Goldhound. I was going to say Skirk Prospector does double duty in that it can be ramp or it can crew the commander, but Goldhound can do triple duty because it can be an artifact that increases the number of cards that we draw when we hit with the Jackdaw, but it's also a creature that can help us to crew the Jackdaw, and it's a piece of ramp that can help us power the Jackdaw out, and it's an artifact that lets us draw more cards. But also, when we crack the Goldhound, that puts exactly a artifact and a creature in the graveyard for delirium, which is good for our win lines. 2 of them anyway. Also, the Goldhound is a treasure. So it helps with our treasure synergies. Loyal Apprentice, 2/1 that makes a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with haste and flying every combat. 2 + 1 is the magic number of 3 again, which is exactly what we need in order to crew the Jackdaw. We've got now I had 3 of these. I ended up taking one of them out, but there's basically 3 versions of Containment Construct and Inti. I can never remember the name of the third one. It's like the Doomsday Preacher, what is it? The tinfoil hat wearing guy, the Preacher of End Times, the I'm going to go down and take a look at my most recent cuts. Drives me crazy. Where is it? Found it, jeez. Conspiracy theorist. All that to find a guy that is no longer in the deck. But this could be. It's not a bad piece in the deck. I just had to make a cut. And man, I mean, you see all those modifications I've made? I wasn't lying to you. We've done a lot of iterating on this deck today. View full history. Look at all this. Tons and tons. But we're going to be, we're built to discard a bunch of cards. And so it makes sense to have guys like Containment Construct, which just does everything that this deck wants to do. Containment Construct says whenever you discard a card, you may exile that card from your graveyard. If you do, you can play that card this turn. So look, it takes the sting out of discarding cards when you get to play them anyway, right? So as you're discarding cards with different versions of different effects in this deck, you're able to play the damn things anyway. So you get to kind of have your cake and eat it too. Really massive synergy with the commander. While we're using the Jackdaw as a massive value engine, we're able to use the Containment Construct as a value engine to get the value that we were leaving on the table with just the Jackdaw. The other version that we left in is Inti, which at first I thought that I would rather play the Conspiracy Theorist. But the fact that Inti, let me read it. Whenever you attack, you may discard a card, which is just good in the deck. When you do, put a +1 counter on target attacking creature, and it gains trample until end of turn. So that the fact that it can give our commander trample, so that's just one more evasion technique in the deck, another piece of evasion tech in the deck, to make sure that we can smack somebody with our commander when we need to. Top notch, we need that. And then it says whenever you discard one or more cards, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card until your next end step. So it's just different enough from Containment Construct that you can actually have both of these in play at the same time. And triple, like if you have Containment Construct and Inti and your commander all running at the same time, there's just no limit to the value. Like you're just not going to be bottlenecked on cards. And this deck is rarely bottlenecked on mana. And if you're not limited by cards and you're not limited by mana, then you're just not limited. I mean, that's you're always in a deck, always in a game. You're restricted on one of two. You're always going to have one of two bottlenecks. It's either going to be that you, I mean, sometimes you're restricted on both. You don't have enough cards and you don't have enough mana, but you're not winning those games. But if you're restricted on cards, so like you could have all kinds of mana, but just nothing to dump the mana into, that's not good. You're not running efficiently. And the opposite is also true. Maybe, I don't remember which one I just said, but the opposite thing could be happening. Maybe you've got all of the cards you need, but you don't have mana, you're choked up on mana. Or maybe you've got all the mana, but just no cards to spend it on. Both of those are limits. Both of those are bottlenecks. Now, if you are not bottlenecked on cards, if you've got all the cards you need, and you've got all the mana you need, then you've got all the everything you need. And that is when you, what I say this pretty often, if you're not bottlenecked or restricted on either cards or mana, you have entered Neo mode. You've entered the Matrix, you're Neo, and there is no fucking spoon. You're going to win those games. There's nothing to stop you from winning those games. So those are the situations that we're trying to hit. We're trying to run into those situations with this deck. Wonder is in the deck to be discarded. As soon as you discard Wonder, all of your worries about not being able to hit with your commander are forever gone. Now, your commander has flying for the rest of the game. I mean, unless somebody somehow exiles this dude out of your graveyard, which means you can always, I mean, you can virtually always hit somebody once your commander has flying. It's not even worth worrying about. If you can give your dude flying, you can hit somebody with them. Even if you have to spend removal, because we've got plenty of it. We've got tons of the best interaction, and we've got kind of just your generic good interaction, but then we've also got the pieces of interaction that are specifically good in this deck, like Izzet Charm. Again, we're discarding things, but also we're trying to put together a suite that is beneficial in as many different ways as possible. I guess that's sort of redundant. Izzet Charm is either a counter spell or a removal spell, or a way to fix delirium if we need to win with our FOMO, or just, dig through our deck. Galvanic Blast is a better lightning bolt as long as you have Metalcraft, and guess what? You do. I don't know how many of these artifacts we need to talk about. Some of them have real uses, but they're all just like kind of ramp, and they're your standard run-of-the-mill, hey, I've got to play a bunch of artifacts, what should I do? I mean, it's mostly those. We've got the, like, Cheerios-type artifacts, and then the ones that have, like, reasonable effects, like Tormod's Crypt and Welding Jar. I guess there's a couple that are in here just because of the exact deck we're playing, right? Oh, Sonic Screwdriver, that's what I was thinking of. I took one of them out, which I guess we don't need to talk about. Sonic Screwdriver is a 3-mana tap for any mana, a rock. It's got the tap and untap to untap another target artifact. You can tap 2 and tap it to scry. All those things can be somewhat useful, but the two main uses are it's a mana rock, and 3 mana and tap makes your commander just totally unblockable. Not flying, unblockable. And we want to play artifacts anyway, so this seems like a good card for the deck. It's only 45 cents. Let's take a look at the land base. Rogue's Passage. This is another just a clean way to make our commander unable to be blocked. We've got kind of the usual suite that I play for Izzet. We've got, the Snarl and Fiery Islet, Command Tower, Shivan Reef. But this one gets to play Spire of Industry, like just another straight up dual land. Sulphur Falls. I like these. I like the Sylvanite Temple, however you say that, and the Depletion lands. I decided to go with the red Depletion land. The blue one is like $3, and the blue Sacrifice land because it's 60 cents. One of each is just perfect because, well, that's just the way our mana ends up working. We've got 35%, 48%, 37, 52 hike. So of all the symbols, 52% are red, 48% are blue. 35, so 24 out of 68 non-land cards are blue, and 25 are red. So there's a really close to even split, but we went just a little bit harder. Let me get a better look at this. Yeah, I feel like I'm having a stroke here. Like, I've paid very careful attention and watched this walk exactly in the direction I want it to for so long. And somewhere I took a wrong turn. Must have been very late in development here. But let's fix it. Let's fix it in real time. Well, here, let me pause and then we'll fix it. There we go. Ta-da. Fixed it. Back to normal. Back to perfect. 35, 48, 53, 37, 37, 52, 56, 39. That looks fantastic. So we've also got a bunch of artifacts in the mana base. We've got Treasure Vault, Artifact Land, makes material, makes treasures. Darksteel Citadel, Artifact Land. Seat of the Synod, Artifact Land. Great Furnace, Artifact Land. We spam artifacts. We've always got tons of artifacts, and they're not, like, useless. And we've got ways to make sure that our guy gets through unblocked. We've talked about most of them, but there's others. There's Slip Through Space. We hadn't talked about that. That's another. Also, Treasure Nabber. So isn't this sick? I was debating on whether I wanted to put the Goblin Matron in because we don't have that many ways to tutor for Kiki-Jiki, really just Imperial Recruiter. So I wanted to add Goblin Matron because it's 12 cents and another way to find one of our win conditions. So I added the Goblin Matron, and I thought, well, what other goblins can I add that would be good in the deck? Skirk Prospector, but sure. It's like, sure, that's a good part of a little goblin package, especially if you have Skirk Prospector and you cast your Goblin Matron. Now you've got another goblin you can sacrifice for mana. But very rarely do you want to actually tutor up your Skirk Prospector with your Goblin Matron. But Treasure Nabber in this deck goes off, right? Like, if until end of turn we gain control of everything that everybody's tapping, we've got all their mana rocks, then we're just not only going to get extra mana, extra use out of them, but also that means we're going to be drawing that many more cards. 40 minutes. Let's do some Goldfishing, guys. You got to see the thing in action. It's come together nicely. Like, the deck is legit. It's legit. I hate this frickin' printing. It just doesn't look anything like a lightning bolt. But it's the cheapest one, so we keep it. Speaking of keep, do we keep the hand? We don't. Yeah, I think we probably do. We just keep this probably. The problem is we don't have any way to crew our. Yeah, I don't know. We don't have a lot of. We don't have artifacts and we don't have crew. We've got good interaction, and we've got one of our win cons. We've got great interaction and one of our win cons, and we can get our thing out on turn 2. Then we can start digging. Yeah, no, I think we don't keep this on a first 7. That's worse. 1 land. Let's go to 6. Damn. Let's go to 5. This is gonna have to do. This isn't bad. I mean, if we got to keep all of these cards, if this were our 7, this would be good. What are we gonna put to the bottom? Let's get rid of the Rapid H. Oops. I very rarely was finding myself having to go down cards in Goldfishing. So do we want to get the turn? Well, I think we're gonna pitch the Rite of Flame. That sucks because I really would like to get that turn 2 commander, but you can't always get what you want. So let's draw for turn, and we'll go turn 1 like this. When it enters, you can exile a card from a graveyard. You can tap it, sacrifice, and exile each of opponents, not your own graveyard. You can tap 1 mana and tap it and sacrifice it to draw a card. Always be looking for ways to draw cards with your Jackdaw and turn on your Delirium, and this will help you with both of those. Let's go to turn 2. Good, we got a piece of interaction. Hopefully we don't need it for anything yet. So this is kind of gross. We may have to spend our that's so funny. I might actually use the Goblin Matron in this scenario to find Skirk Prospector just so I can crew my frickin' commander. 1, 2, 3. Play the Goblin Matron. We're not really near looking to win the game yet. So, do we need the Kiki-Jiki? No, probably not. Let's just get a Skirk. Let's just get a Skirk. It's funny. That is funny. The decks like to make me look foolish when I go to Goldfish in front of people. Now, if you ever had to wonder if I'm cheating and not showing you the bad runs. This should tell you everything you need to know. Next turn. Yeah, this is bad, guys. This is not what we're looking for. Golly. Good Lord. I mean, probably it's only turn 4. We probably can survive. 1, 2, 3. We're gonna have to, yeah, shit. This is terrible. Turn 4 commander, and then realistically we're going to want to hold up interaction. Now we're getting into the turns where people are starting to win the game. In fact, let's say we did have to use this. And we may well have in order to not lose on turn 4. Alright, and let's go ahead and play our Skirk. Turn 5, yuck. But hey, we've got enough to crew our commander, and it's not going to be drawing like crazy amounts of cards. It's not going to do everything I promised, but it's fine. So we hit somebody with this, and that's going to be 1 artifact. 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll draw. We discard our hand, which isn't going to matter, and draw 5. Things are looking up. We can cast a Ornithopter, play a land for turn. We'll enter tapped because we suck. Oh no, this is the, yeah, I thought it was a Snarl. No, this is looking up. This is actually good. Those were good top decks. We're in real good shape now. It's going to be real hard for us to lose the game. Even if we had to use a counterspell on turn 4 to avoid losing, I think that's perfectly reasonable to say if we could counter something on turn 4, we didn't lose the game. And now we've got Misdirection with a blue card in hand, and we've got a Braid. Or we can cast the Rapid Hybridization if a Braid can't burn the thing out. So, yeah, I mean, we've got really good answers for a lot of things. So probably by this point in the game, yes, we are having to use those answers, but we've got them. Maybe somebody is seeing that, oh, damn, he's got a bunch of artifacts, and saying, nope, we're going to have to kill his Jackdaw because he's starting to turn the corner and get back into this game. We can cast our Misdirection, exiling our Rapid Hybridization, and still be able to burn out the Selvala that thinks they found a window because we just had to use our interaction to save ourselves. Like I said, this is not a Storm deck, guys. This is a grind deck. Make no mistake about it. This is a, if anything, a control deck. Or closer to a control deck than... yeah, closer to a control deck than it is a Storm deck, that's for sure. Not a fast combo deck. It's grindy. All right, so, and hopefully we were able to Braid, or, it depends on exactly what all was really going on. Maybe we would have used the, this to clear a path, or, hopefully, I guess what I'm saying is hopefully the thing that we were able to, that we abraded, will be all we need to abrade in order to be able to actually hit somebody with the Jackdaw, because if we can't, we're out of the game. So hopefully we can do that. And we did just use, we had lots of interaction, so pretty good chance that somehow in that last batch of interaction we were able to arrange a path, right? Like, so say the person that tried to kill our commander, between the Abrade and the Misdirection, we should have been able to at least get a path where we can hit one opponent. Even if we had to misdirect the thing that was aimed at our commander at the same person whose dude we had to blow up with the Abrade, we ought to have been able to clear a path for at least one more good attack. And hopefully that's all we need before we can find a way to permanently turn on our commander. All right, so now I was going to play this land out, but then I thought better of it. Let's see what happens when we attack, because we may need to turn on delirium, and in some weird world where we don't have any lands to discard. Well, now hold on. No, we can play this, because I can sacrifice this next turn if need be. Well, yeah, but shit, I'll find a land, right? Yeah, so we'll turn this on. We'll hit the person that we used the abrade on. Maybe even the abrade and the misdirection on. We will discard our hand. We'll draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards. You see how this sort of snowballs? Yeah, and now we're in real good shape. If we get here, I feel kind of invincible. We've got, what would we do? We could cast the Imperial Recruiter to find Rionia. Then we could use the Rionia to copy the Goblin Recruiter or the Goblin Matron. That's not what we're gonna do because we can't find the Rionia with the Goblin or with the Imperial Recruiter. Can we? Let me see. All right, I got it. I see what we're gonna do. We've got interaction to hold up. We should pretty easily be able to survive. We've got this nasty son of it. This is like 450 and it's worth it in this deck. Return each non-land permanent that's not historic to its owner's hand. So let's look at our situation here. All of these cards are either lands or historic on our battlefield, except for the ones we want to pick up. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to wait until end step, right before our turn. So we're going to go Imperial Recruiter. Imperial Recruiter is going to find Kiki Jiki. Still on our turn. Okay, and then before our turn, we got to cast this. No, we don't have to cast this yet. Before our turn, we will tap 1, 2, 3, sacrifice. The Skirk Prospector is 4 mana. To cast the Desynchronization, which is going to Psych Rift all of our opponents, more or less, right before our turn. And it's going to pick this back up for us. And pick this back up for us. We go to next turn. And so now we can use our Imperial Recruiter to find our other guy. How do we only have 3 types? What are they? Okay, that is an instant. That is a creature. That is a land. Okay, so we have instant, creature, land. All right. So we can find the Fear of Missing Out. Damn it, are we going to have enough mana to do all this? No, I guess without, unless we can find Treasure Nabber and it somehow makes just an obscene amount of mana, we're just not going to be able to do this all in one turn. That's alright. We've got plenty of interaction. We've got all of our pieces. So probably we would just get our Kiki Jiki out there. Could sacrifice the Mind Stone to hit Delirium, but we've got Combat Celebrant in hand. Yeah. No, let's not do that. Let's be responsible. Remember, we're not a turbo deck. We are a grind deck. We've been grinding. Probably we will have to blow one of these counter spells to not die again. So let's at least be able to. So let's do this. Let's just play. Combat Celebrant, we'll just put that in play on this turn. Yeah, and then maybe... No, I think by this point in the game, we better hold up as much as we can. Honestly. We're just holding up mana. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Yep. Yep, and hopefully we can make it back to one more turn, only surviving with an Izzet Charm and a Mana Leak. See, we had to Izzet Charm something. And we go to our next turn, and now we do just go for the win. 1, 2, 3, 4. We really did not draw a lot of mana considering we're drawing all those damn cards. Alright, well, there's our combo. That was not an impressive run. That was a mull, kind of a low mull. Let's see another one. Yeah, this looks pretty good. Alright, so our first 7, and we're keeping it. I don't know if it's that good that we should be doing that, but I don't want to mulligan and get into Crazy World. Turn 1, let's just do this and this. And I mean, really, there's no sense in playing these out, and you don't want to like tip your hand, so I think probably we just wouldn't play anything else out. Next turn, although we probably would have wanted to do this. Yeah. Turn 2, we'll put out 1, 2, 3. Our guy. And go to turn 3. Yeah, now we can go 1, 2. Exile this to play this. Now this is more like it, guys. And then cast both of these. We're hellbent on turn 3. When we go to combat, we'll be able to, first of all, we'll make a Loyal Apprentice token, what are they, Thopters? We'll make a Thopter. Yeah, this is turn 3. Yeah, this is crazy. This is when the deck goes nuts. So, however we want to do this, we want to tap this to give that flying. And now we've got an evasive dude. And we've got any combination of ways we want to go about giving this dude, crewing this dude. We'll just tap this and this. Or we'll tap, like I was saying before. Well, these both have summoning sickness, so we'll tap both of these. Crew this guy, go to combat, it's got flying. Whack somebody, discard our hand, haha, and draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards on turn 3. Now we're cooking, folks. Now we are cooking. We don't have any interaction we can use anyway, so I guess to be responsible with our mana, we'll just use it. Or if there's a thing to exile, obviously we'd use this instead. And we'll say we did it the other way. I mean, it honestly doesn't matter. Next turn. All right. Now we've got from here on out, guys. We can hold up all the interaction and draw all the cards and do all the things. We can put a thing in play. Let's see. Would we want to so yeah, I mean, you got to start asking yourselves questions at this point now, like, do we want to continue cracking in and drawing preposterous numbers of cards? Or do we want to hold up what we've got and look for our Malcolm because we've got the Glinthorn? And maybe the answer would be, like, on this turn, we'd play the Glint Horn just to have it in play. So we'll take this back, whatever we just cast, I think that was it. And make sure we've got... Well, you know what? Yeah. There's just no... We just don't have the mana to do it. That's the problem. We don't have red. Alright, well then fuck it. We're just going to keep going crazy. Let's go 1, 2... Here's what we're going to do. Oh wait, this is the one that lets us play off the top. I was thinking, see, this is where I need the conspiracy theorist, because then I could discard the Glint Horn and still cast it after I draw a billion cards for my turn, so that I'm able to find the red mana I need to cast the fucking thing. Can I turn it into red mana here? No, I just need a 4th mana first. Let's just do this. Let's go to combat. We're gonna make another Thopter. I'm gonna leave my mana untapped. So we'll play an artifact. We'll just leave 2 blue up. That feels safe. And tap this and tap this and this to crew this and swing with this. We'll do the Inti thing. We'll discard our cards. 1, 2, 3. Well, yeah, 3, 4, and we're gonna draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards. Alright, and then we could put another whatever colored mana source, doesn't matter. Like there's no way for us to lose this game, right? It seems very unlikely that this would be one that we would. Alright, we've had one good one and one bad one, and let's see how this one goes. Is this a keep? I mean, probably not, but we're running out of time. Oh, here, let's draw for turn. Okay, Snarl, reveal, next turn. Okay, we'll go 2, 1, 2. Put this guy out. Combat, make a token. Okay. And probably at this point in the game, yeah, just get set up, I guess. Probably we would use the Rite of Flame. We want to hold up the delay. Use the Rite of Flame for our Inti. And we're just, we're just getting these Thopters. Swinging and being able to recast any of this stuff, and we can cast our Slip Through Space, which makes this thing unable to be blocked, and we draw a card off it. And we do that before combat, so then we play that before we actually go to combat. And we would get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We'd discard 2 and draw 9 cards. So that's the deck. That's how she works. Yeah, so you've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. That's all there is just the good, the bad, and the ugly. Until next time, may all your outs be live, and your women be liver, your men be livest. Word to your mothers and your fathers. Fathers, don't let your daughters grow up to be cowboys. And or cowgirls, for that matter. Let them be cowboys and cowgirls if they damn want. Word to your mothers, namaste, may the force be with you and also with you. Peace be with you, not so much you. And namaste, nerds.